The US Congress has moved a step closer to imposing new sanctions on Russia, Iran and North Korea. Russia is being targeted for meddling in last year's US election. North Korea and Iran are being sanctioned over their ballistic missile tests. But President Donald Trump is still keeping everyone guessing over whether he'll support the sanctions. Anne Barker filed this report.
On this vote, the yeas are 419, the nays are 3.
The vote from both sides of the House of Representatives was overwhelmingly in support of sanctions.
Further objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
The legislation, if it's passed in the Senate, would hit Russia with sweeping financial sanctions, punishment for Moscow's interference in last year's presidential election, as well as its military aggression against Ukraine and in Syria. Democrat Congressman David Cicilline voiced the fears of both Republicans and Democrats.
And we simply cannot allow any foreign power to interfere in our electoral process. Given our president's complete unwillingness to hold Russia accountable for their attack, and let's not mistake it for anything else, it was an attack on America. It has become necessary for Congress to assert its role in this area and ensure that Russia will be held accountable.
The overwhelming support underlines the depth of concern on both sides at Donald Trump's pro-Moscow stance. The president has long talked of forging closer links with Moscow and had threatened to veto the bill altogether, though Congress now has the power to block him from doing so. It's not the only headache Donald Trump has this week over Russia, with speculation mounting that he's preparing to fire his Attorney General to shut down the independent investigation into allegations of collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign. Democrat Senate Leader Chuck Schumer.
Many Americans must be wondering if the president is trying to pry open the office of Attorney General to appoint someone during the August recess who will fire Special Counsel Mueller and shut down the Russian investigation.
Donald Trump in recent days has been sniping at his Attorney General Jeff Sessions, until now one of his most loyal supporters, in a series of tweets and public comments.
I am disappointed in the Attorney General. He should not have recused himself almost immediately after he took office. And if he was going to recuse himself, he should have told me prior to taking office, and I would have quite simply picked somebody else.
Jeff Sessions is so far refusing to resign, and the president won't say unequivocally whether he'd sack him. But his new communications director, Anthony Scaramucci, agrees President Trump wants him gone in a radio interview with Hugh Hewitt.
Why not just fire Jeff Sessions?
Well, listen, I mean, you know, I think the president has a certain style, certain skill set. He's obviously frustrated. I said yesterday, I think, to Sarah Murray, maybe the two of them to get together. My guess is the president doesn't want to do that. And so I think I think him and Jeff, Attorney General Sessions need to work this thing out.
It's clear the president wants him gone.
I have an enormous amount of respect for the Attorney General. But I do know the president pretty well, and if there's this level of tension in the relationship that's public, you're probably right. But I don't want to speak for the president on that because he's a cabinet official, and I sort of think that has to be between the president of the United States and the cabinet official.
And Mr. Scaramucci says he questions why the president would want to fire Robert Mueller.
Anne Barker reporting.